welcome to the Redefine podcast. All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year. It is 2024. Can you believe it? I can't believe it myself. It's gone by very, very quickly, especially since I was sick the entire last week of December. That's why I actually missed the last episode of 2023. I missed the first episode, which was supposed to be on Tuesday of 2024. But hey, what matters is we're back now with the first episode of the new year, and we are actually continuing our series on network marketing. Today is going to be part 5 of 5. So we're going to be closing it out with the topic of recruiting. Now, if you haven't yet listened to parts 1 through 4, I encourage you to do that so that you have more context for today's conversation. But I really wanted to get into recruiting because I believe recruiting is the root of all of our challenges, well, many of our challenges here in network marketing that we've experienced historically and currently, right? So I want to really drill down and explain to you why I believe that's the case and what we can do about it. And it's really relatively simple fixes. So to kick off the conversation, let's just talk numbers, right? Let's just talk sheer statistics, and you'll start to understand why why I have such an issue. Well, I've developed such an issue with recruiting. Now, mind you, I'm not saying recruiting is wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. And I also recognize that the recruiting model has evolved out of necessity because of our limitations with the compensation plans, right? We couldn't get paid until we recruited people into our businesses, but that's no longer the case. So that's why I want to kind of make this shift in our mindset in the profession to broaden the conversation, to broaden the narrative and the definition so that we can be more inclusive and stay relevant in the marketplace. So talking sheer statistics, right? Industry average is that for every 100 people you present to, like you get them to to a presentation, you get them to you do a one-on-one, whatever the presentation might be. But for every 100 prospects that you speak with, 2 to 3 of them will join your business as distributors, right? So it's a 2 to 3% conversion rate, which that's what I've known historically, and I looked it up, and it still seems to stand. That number still seems to stand, right? So for every 100 people that you talk to, every 100 prospects, 2 to 3 join your business as distributors. So we already see that that's kind of an issue, right? The sheer magnitude of the numbers of how many people you have to talk to is, it's monumental. To have to talk to 100 and only get 2 to 3 is pretty crazy stats. And then you think about it just from this first stat, that 97 to 98% of the people that you talk to are just people you're churning through, right? So already we're starting to get a picture of what's realistically going on. Now, of the people that actually do join your business as distributors, only about 2 to 3% of those will actually be your runners or your stars, that will actually duplicate the things that you're doing to build your business. So we're looking at then for every 100 people that you sponsor into your business, only 2 to 3 of those will be your stars. Again, crazy numbers. So that leaves the other 98, 97% that are already in your business. You're churning through them to find your 2 to 3 stars, right? And then you tack on top of that just the sheer number of people you have to talk to get 100 people in your business. The math is absolutely staggering, right? If we're talking about 2 to 3%, let's just say 3% just to make it easy. 3% of the people become stars. So to get 3, you have to sign up 100, right? If you want roughly 9 or 10, you're going to have to talk to, or you're going to have to sign up, not even just talk to, you're going to have to enroll and sponsor 300 people, right? And so to enroll and sponsor 300 people, remember, it's a 3% conversion rate. You're going to have to talk to how many prospects? You do the math, but again, it's very, very staggering. And because there's such a small percentage that kind of rise to the top, what happens is you're just churning through massive amounts of people, right? So already we're getting a picture of why network marketing gets such a bad name. Right? Why network marketing gets such a bad rap? Because we've defined network marketing as a recruiting business, and what we've done as a practice is just churn through people to find the ones that will stick. That's never been. I've always had. That as always, that principle, I've always been in contention with, because like just throwing up mud against the wall and seeing what sticks, I know is a pretty common mindset in the profession. It's one that I never subscribe to, because people are more than just numbers, right? People are more than just stats that we churn through just to in order to find what we want out of the business, right? So again, like this is one of the big reasons why recruiting is an issue, especially because it doesn't have to be the case anymore, right? Yes, the limitations of the compensation plans used to dictate that, but more and more compensation plans are adapting to the marketplace, where you don't actually have to recruit a single person to start making money in the profession, in the business. You can just sell products, acquire customers, take care of those customers, and you can make commissions on the customer sales, as opposed to having a business built solely on recruiting. Again, the fact that we're still perpetuating this recruiting as the business is a little silly to me. I understand why we do it. I mean, it's because the profession is struggling right now and it's in decline. And so, what do we do when we're in decline? Well, we do we've always done, and that's what we do best, right? Right. We've gotten really good at creating systems and creating skills around recruiting over the years, and so we rely on those skills, especially the top leaders. We rely on all of these skills that we already know how to do. That we're very, very good at, in order to bring momentum back into the business. However, the issue is the marketplace is completely different and is not as responsive, I would say, as it used to be 5, 10, 15 years ago, right? Moreover, what ends up happening is that even if your numbers are good, and even if you're really, let's say you're getting in 4 or 5% conversion rate, the churn rate is just as fast, because people not only realize that you're churning through them as a number, but they also recognize that there's more options out there for them, different ways of creating income for themselves that don't require recruiting, right? Right. So there's that part of the issue. Now, as far as the stats goes, you might also be saying, well, you're not doing all the work yourself, right? You're, when your people get in, you help work their list, and you help them work their list, and you're driving depth and in your organization, et cetera, et cetera. You're doing presentations for them. You're helping them close this. And I get that. Again, that totally makes sense. And what you have to realize that only 2 to 3% of the distributor field will actually grind it out that hard. I remember doing it myself, and I'll occasionally still do it, and to help new people in my organization get their business started quickly. I remember early on, though, that's all we did, right? We would travel around the country, eventually internationally, to do presentations in living rooms, and as that local market grew, we'd start doing presentations in hotel conference rooms, et cetera, et cetera. But it was always the handful of 1, 2, 3% who were doing all the presenting, who was doing the closing. So it relied a lot on that small percentage of people to again churn through and find, first of all, the 2 to 3% that will actually join the business, and then find the 2 to 3% that once they join the business will duplicate these behaviors. It's all about churn. It's still all about churn, no matter how you look at it. And even if we teach ethics and integrity and treating people right and developing communities, all of that gets lost in translation, right? Like the deeper down your organization gets, the messages of teaching ethics, teaching morals, and teaching community, and all that fluffy stuff, which is essential. All of that starts to get lost in translation, right? The message and the principles of integrity and ethics starts to really get watered down, and what remains is sponsor, sponsor, sponsor as many people as you can get, right? Just churn through the numbers. What sticks is the churn, right? Another thing about this is, well, the argument might be that's why we do events, right? We create these events, live events, and so that we can foster a community where we can nurture the people who aren't yet in that top 2 to 3%, right? So that they can develop themselves. We teach them personal development. We teach them skills. Sure, all well and good, but the statistic still remains the same. And what's even crazier is of the people that get in, right? Like the top 2, 3% become your rock stars. Um, the rest of the 97% barely well, okay, so when I say rock stars too, the top 2, 3% are the ones that will enroll and sponsor 10 or more people. Everybody else really pretty much struggles to get five, right, if that. And a full actual 70% never sponsor anybody at all. And so even if you want to talk about the sunshines and daisies that the events bring, and don't get me wrong, I love the events and I think they're really important, and I believe in the community building aspect of network marketing. But the real purpose, the underlying hidden purpose of events is to keep people in, right? And this is evidenced in the fact that there is a very derogatory term for people who stay in and who get attached to events but never build. The industry calls them cookie eaters, right? How crappy is that? How crappy is that? Let's just keep them in. They'll eat cookies. It doesn't matter. They're part of the community. They're still purchasing products. We'll make sure that we do events for them so that they feel like they're part of it. But whether or not they build, it's okay because we're churning through the numbers. I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that. Not anymore, at least. Again, maybe that made sense 20 years ago, 10 years ago, but it doesn't make sense anymore because we've adapted our compensation plans to not have to rely solely on recruiting to build a business. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I think I said this at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of the episode, recruiting isn't necessarily inherently bad, or well, am I saying that it's wrong? Sure, it's required for like if to access the higher levels and the deeper levels of the compensation plan, you got to build a downline if you want to access those larger payouts. However, it's not the only answer anymore, right? Now that compensation plans are starting to adapt to the marketplace and to address the fact that people don't want to recruit. I mean, that's the reason why compensation plans are adapting in the first place, right? Because people don't want to recruit and people can't recruit. Like a full 70% of the distributor field never recruits a single person. And so the compensation plans now, hopefully your company's compensation plan is adapting, but they're now adapting so that you don't have to enroll or sponsor anybody into your business before you start making money. You can just acquire customers and foster nurture your customers, and you'll get paid on customer sales without having anybody in your own personal genealogy downline, right? So there's no need for recruiting to be the only conversation. And in fact, I think we can have more reach, a broader reach in the general public, if we focused our attention and practice on selling products and services, which is what the business is anyways, right? Like when if we continue to define network marketing as a business of recruiting, it becomes even less legitimate than it was before in today's marketplace as a real business, because people are out here and they're doing affiliate marketing, they're selling and promoting products, right? They're building their content creation and on the social spheres. They're creating influence for themselves, and they're making money as influencers promoting products and services, right? None of it has anything to do with recruiting. So if we really just let go of recruiting being the only answer for network marketing, we can broaden that conversation and be have more reach, and participate in the marketplace that everybody else is participating in, as opposed to only talking to network marketers or people who have never heard of network marketing, right? Generally, that's the only people we've been able to get in the business now, because are people who haven't heard of network marketing, because the people who have so many other options out there available for them, right? So what's the answer? Let's not just talk about recruiting, right? Let's not use these recruitment strategies in our presentations. Let's not make these hypotheticals a selling point, and these big bulk packages as the thing that drives the income in the business, and how to make that money, how to capitalize is by recruiting people into your organization. Let's make that the secondary answer, right? Let's make that the secondary answer. In fact, I wrote something here in my notes that I believe is good. Okay, so recruiting. Yeah, sorry, I got to read my notes here. Okay, instead of recruiting being the primary thing over sales of products and services, let's let recruiting be the byproduct of sales of product and services. Right, that I think is healthier. When you do a presentation that's centered around and focused on the products and the services. And you're creating income when you acquire customers and through customer sales, ultimately people will see that, and the ones that are interested enough to and get curious enough about what you're doing will approach you, right? They'll select themselves into your a business conversation, basically, because of your activity, not because you've convinced them that they should look at your opportunity because it's a great way to create income if they talk to their friends and family, right? And if they get in on these bulk packages. You see how um, instead of convincing people that never wanted to do the business in the first place, by doing actual business and promoting products and services, and generating customer sales, the people who might be interested in that model will approach you, and you'll never have to convince a room full of people who are there to look at the products and services in the first place. You'll never have to try to convince them to do the business. You'll barely even have to mention the business in the presentation. They'll just be naturally curious as to how you're creating income with this side hustle, right? For those that are curious. So it's just a much natural way. And of course, when it comes to even like online strategies, it's an even simpler it's a simpler funnel to sell somebody on a product or a service than it is to sell them on a business opportunity, right? The example that I used in last episode is a bait and switch that I've been looking at an individual I've been following who claims they're an affiliate marketer on their socials, and that's why I was interested. I wanted to learn what the affiliate model what the affiliate business model looked like. So I opted into their master class, affiliate marketing master class, and all it was a bait and switch for their network marketing presentation. Right, right. If they had just focused on actually selling products, then it wouldn't have been a big deal. It wouldn't have been a big deal. Now, is it working for them? Sure, it is. I can see that, and this individual is very successful. However, it doesn't help the profession at all. I don't think it helps the people who I don't think it's helping the prospects who opt in for an affiliate marketing masterclass tutorial, to then see that they're just getting sold a network marketing deal, right? Again, it's the same thing that I talked about in this entire episode. It's that churning through numbers, no matter. And I think the biggest issue with the recruiting mindset is, it's just churn through the numbers in any way, shape, or form that you can, and that's where the bad practices come from. This one specific instance is a great example, right? The affiliate marketer who's pretending to be affiliate marketer, but then the presentation is really just a network marketing presentation, right? Right. So again, I'm not saying that recruiting is wrong, but it can happen as a byproduct of selling products and services. And if you do that, it's just a healthier way to recruit, as opposed to actively recruiting and actively convincing everybody that you talk to, that's within 3 feet of you, right? The old 3 feet rule. That they need to look at this business opportunity that's going to change their life. Selling people on a dream that never gets fulfilled, right? Right. Then all the people that we churn through, or that have gotten burned, won't have gotten burned, because all we got to do is help them sell products, right? And in fact, we're going to have to churn through less people. There's not going to be a churn in the first place, because the people that get into the actual business side of your efforts are the ones that want to be there and are willing to put in the effort. So again, the what historically would be the 2 to 3%, instead of churning through numbers to find them, they'll actually select themselves in, and your efforts are going to be that much more fluid and healthy, right, and healthy. So hopefully that makes sense. I know I was talking a little fast. There was a lot to get through, and I didn't want this to take 40 minutes. But yeah, recruiting I think is again, it's not dead, and it's not wrong or bad, but the fact that it's the primary focus, and the fact that we still define ourselves to this day as a recruiting business, I think is an issue, and it's time to redefine that. And that's what this whole mission has been all about. I mean, the Redefine Network Marketing event back that I did back in May of last year now. the, yeah, this is what it's all about. It's redefining the narrative and the definition of network marketing, and then therefore the practices, the methodology, so that we can broaden our conversation and broaden our reach as a result. So really start teaching yourself sales, start teaching yourself marketing, especially online marketing, because it's really, yeah, I mean, we're already doing it in terms of social media marketing. We're not doing marketing necessarily, but we're all posting and engaged in social media. So you might as well turn that habit into productive use of time, right? And I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, and that's stuff that I teach ongoing on the show. So if you're not already subscribed, you might as well subscribe to the show, right? Subscribe to the YouTube, or hit the plus sign on the app of whatever podcast you might be, whatever podcast app you might be listening to, and we're gonna have this conversation more and more. Now, if you're not already part of the Redefine community, I encourage you to join us there. There's gonna be a lot of new stuff, a lot of I'm gonna just continually developing the system to, number one, of course, get the word out about the network marketing, the Redefined network marketing movement. But also to teach you, to continue to grow my education around teaching people how to market online, how to use social media to grow an influence, and eventually leverage that influence to whatever means and ends that you want to leverage that. All right. So that's going to do it for today. Again, Happy New Year. That's a doozy for a first episode. But we'll catch you in the next one that's going to be happening on Tuesday. This is the last of the network marketing series, at least for now. We'll definitely revisit it repeatedly, because I am a network marketer. It's not something I'm hiding from. But I know there's definitely a ton of other topics that I want to cover here on the show, especially now that it's the new year. A lot of mindset stuff is important for this time of the year. So we're going to cover some mindset stuff in the next handful of episodes. So make sure you tune in. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.